Hello friends, welcome to Shriram's. The topic for today's discussion is Indian economy contracts. What were the main findings of the Central Statistical Office about the economic growth of India in the first quarter of 2020-21? It was a comparison of the GDP to its value in the same quarter in the last fiscal year. There is a steep fall in value by about 24%. It never happened before since the independence. What are the reasons? There was a lockdown since late March. Hardly any economic activity took place. Demand collapsed as many crores of people lost jobs and cut down on consumption. Supply chains were destroyed as there was social distancing, curfew, and lockdown. It happened across the world, and so foreign trade too suffered. Did all sectors of the economy show contraction? Except agriculture, the entire economy had shown crash in growth. The worst affected were construction, which contracted by 50%, trade, hotels and other services, which contracted by 47%, manufacturing, which contracted by 39%, and mining, which contracted by 23%. Agriculture has shown positive growth of 3.4%. How did the current account do? Exports shrank by 19.8% during the period, while imports collapsed by 40.4%. The collapse in imports was because of two reasons. One is that oil imports by value came down by 63% because of a fall in oil prices. The total amount of oil imported also declined. With the lockdown on through the period, mobility was limited and this led to lower oil imports. Non-oil, non-bullion imports collapsed by as much as 50%, showing a huge collapse in the overall private consumer demand. Since exports fell much less than imports, the current account showed positive balance, though it is for the wrong reasons. Firstly, exports fell and so factories closed and jobs were lost. Secondly, imports melted because of lack of demand in the country, either for manufacturing or for consumption. This is the first time in 16 years that India is seeing positive current account, though for the wrong reasons. What are the implications for the upcoming quarters? Not very optimistic. There may be some recovery as lockdown is lifting, but most jobs will not be restored. New jobs will not be created. Pressure will continue on demand and supply. Government's fiscal position is precarious. What about fiscal stability? In the current year, Government of India set a fiscal deficit at a target of 3.5% of GDP, which is an escape from the original target of 3%. But given the stimulus, the deficit is more. In percentage terms, it's even more as the GDP shrank. If we add the state deficits, it will be an unprecedented number. Is there a need for a second stimulus? Yes, without a doubt. Government needs to subsidize the consumption of a variety of essential goods and services like food, health, education, electricity, transport, etc. It is necessary both as equity and for creating demand and growth. This is not the time for fiscal prudence. Are these numbers final? No, these are provisional numbers. For example, the data from the Ministry of Corporate Affairs is not available yet. Only the listed companies have provided data. The reliability and inadequacy of data becomes aggravated when we consider that informal sector data is not there. When it is later available, we have the revised and final numbers. They may be even lower than the current figures. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast.